Islamabad. Lise.
Yes, and welcome to the Pakistani capital on the eve of these critical polls in Pakistan. So many titles have been given to them. The bloodiest elections in Pakistan's history, the most enthusiastic with 40 million new young voters, and also the most unpredictable. New parties entering the fray means, to use the well-worn phrase, too close to call. But of course, the big question, as always, is whoever comes to power, will they deal with the huge crises confronting this country? Rising violence, electricity crisis, power shortages every day, and also a crisis in areas like education. 25 million young people are not going to school in Pakistan. Will the candidates, do they address it? And will the winners actually do something about it? We're joined here by Mosharraf Zaidi. He's a commentator, but he's also the team leader for a project called Alif. It happens to be run by Britain's Agency for International Development, and you are monitoring both the progress of education, or the lack, and also how the politicians are responding to the need for it. How are they doing?
Well, for the first time, we're seeing a bit of cut through. There's a number of campaigns like ours that are working to raise awareness and really just add the word education to the word cloud of politics in Pakistan. And so for the first time, politicians are bringing it up in their speeches. Every manifesto addresses it, and every party is committing to substantially raising the amount of money they spend on education. When you sort of scratch below the surface, there's not a lot of substance in the political party manifestos, but for the first time there is that top level ownership of the issue. And so what we hope to start to do after the election is to start holding politicians to account for some of the really great promises they made this time.
Of course, education was put on the agenda when the teenager Malala Yousafzai was attacked by the Taliban. She's now studying in Britain. She says she wants all girls to be educated. Is that issue being addressed in a conservative country?
When we talk to the parties, when we go through the manifestos, every single party is not just committed to education in general, like I said, also specifically because you can't get all of those 25 million kids into school unless you address the issue of girls' education, because a larger proportion of girls is out of school than boys. So absolutely, I think there isn't a mainstream party that's against girls' education, and most mainstream parties are explicitly for it.
Are you looking to the polls with confidence or worry?
A little bit of both. In Pakistan, you're always, you're sort of reservedly optimistic about the future. The thing that's really exciting is the amount of youth that's involved in politics this time, and the new party that's come up, Imran Khan's party. And of course, the violence that's gone around these elections is obviously a cause for concern.
Mosharraf Zaidi, commentator and education campaigner, thank you very much for joining us. And this is a country really very much torn between its hopes and its fears. But tomorrow, the people will decide. We'll be following all the developments.